You're listening to Night Dreams Radio with Gary Anderson.
Hey, that is me. I hope everybody's having a great evening. Boy, last day of the work week for at least a lot of people. Hey, on the fake news, the news that all news is fake, that's what we're told, all the news is fake, a dog owner entered his dog, or tried to enter his dog in, for a race for the governor of Kansas. Okay. Well, I got a couple cats. I might want to have them run for president. I don't know. It didn't fly, though. And then, I don't know if it's fake or not, but from the latest James Bond movie, the car is up for auction. So again, hey, what can I say? It's probably fake. It's not for auction, and I don't believe anything that you read on the news because that's what we've been told to, that all news is fake. Hey, I hope everybody is having a super, super good day, and I hope you guys are going to have a good weekend. Hey, tonight we got a very, very, special guest on that, I've been waiting a long time to get her on the show. She has some really great books. Deana is her first name. I don't want to tell you who she is we bring her on anyway. Another thing I want to say, go get a nice cup of Java. Or maybe tonight, since it's Friday, get a nice, glass of wine. Find yourself a nice place to curl up next to a fire. And let's get into the show. And here's Deana. Hey, Deana, you there? I hope you're there.
Hello?
Hello. How you doing, Deana?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. At least I'm faking I'm doing really good because I couldn't tell you if I was doing good or not because the president said that all news is fake. So, so anyway,
that's true.
Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
Well, my name is Deana Ray, and I'm an author and a blogger and a conspiracy expert. I've written 8 books, and I've appeared on dozens of radio shows, and I also write a blog, and I own a blog, and I've also freelanced dozens of articles all over the internet land.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but it keeps you busy, doesn't it?
It does, and I have a real job, too.
You have time for a real job? That would be really hard.
Yeah.
That would be hard to do.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, wow. So what is the one book I noticed that is on Amazon that I posted up on our Facebook with the swastika on it? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that? Because I've had a lot of people message me all day about it.
Well, is it the bestseller? That's
yes,
first of the... It's a 2-book series. The first book is called The Bestseller, and the second book is called The Sequel. They both have swastikas on them, and they are about they're a 2-part story, so to speak, but they basically can be explained with Germany's influence on our technology, which through Operation Paperclip, we grabbed all of the smartest Germans and brought them here and gave them fake names, and they in turn worked for us. Von Braun is probably the most famous one. He didn't change his name. He was one of the developers of NASA, and probably one of the best rocket scientists in the world. But, of course, Russia got some of them, too. And we had a lot of German Jews that defected here before things got really bad in Germany, who were also brilliant, who contributed, again, to our technology, specifically the bomb. So I don't know what was going on in Germany, but for some reason they had a lot of technology that the rest of the world didn't.
Oh, yeah. They were really advanced. It sounds like you got dogs like me.
I apologize. They are two big dogs, and they get a little testy at night.
Well, if you hear my dog, I have a dog. It's part terrier and part poodle. That the vet said that he's going on 20 years old, which is way lived past what they said they would, that for that species would live. So, but he's totally blind. He walks around in a diaper, runs into everything, but he can't be away from me no matter, what, or he freaks out. So, I mean, he's by my side all the time. So sometimes he kind of forgets where he's at, and you might hear him in the background too. So that's no problem.
Sorry.
So anyway, Germany, like especially in the late 30s, was so advancing technology-wise that it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it should have been going on that fast as it was going. They were developing, as you know, the nuclear bomb. There's been talk about the Nazi Bell. It's just a lot of things.
Right. Exactly, and many claim that our air and space program is not our air and space program, it's Germany's air and space program. So there are many people who have called America the Fourth Reich. Minus the racism, so they definitely had an edge. Does that make them the master race? Well, Hitler obviously thought so. But he luckily was too crazy to take advantage of it.
Uh-huh. Well, they say he was crazy, but then I don't know. I think maybe towards the end he was, but I think at one point he was very brilliant and, otherwise, I mean, he seemed to,
I think he would have won the war, hands down, no contest, if he would have brought the Jews into the fold with him. If he would have said, hey, let's take over the world, and incorporated the German Jews, because so many of them were brilliant scientists, and instead he chose to alienate them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, of course he also made the mistake, too, of, making friends with Russia and then turn around and attacking Russia. So, I mean, he did some really strange things.
He did. He thank God, he made a lot of mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, we might be saluting the flag instead of putting our hands on our heart. I mean, but it just seems like it was so many things going on, like, the Bell, and then over in Antarctica, talk of, the secret Nazi base underground and alien talk and all this stuff, and, talking about it still might be going on. It's so, it's just so much you could talk about.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and obviously World War II has been over for a long time, but people are still talking about it. There's still TV shows specifically on all of the aspects of the war, and I know a few months ago they had the JFK papers came out that Hitler did not kill himself. In fact, that body that was burned up was of a 20 to 40-year-old woman. So, which to me would have been a huge story, but I think it was like a barely a blurb on the news. It kind of struck me as odd, but
oh yeah, too, and it struck me kind of strange too that the Russians, had just totally, just kept quiet about, his remains and, wouldn't let anybody from outside of Russia examine them, what little remains they had. My always feeling is that either somebody helped him get out of the country or he got out of the country, before the collapse. I know that he did have a body double too. So, I mean, like Churchill.
I always had this theory that we helped him, because he lived high on the hog in Argentina and Colombia. Everybody knew who he was. He didn't even bother to change his name half the time. I honestly think that we helped him, and in exchange, he again gave us some technology. That's kind of my conspiracy is always pointing to we got a lot out of Germany, and that was, we'll keep the story going that you killed yourself in return for your secrets.
Oh, yeah. And boy, did we all, got some top-notch scientists and just so much stuff that it seemed like our technology just really, started advancing at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, so. But hey, I'm doing most of the talking, and you're the guest, and it's your show for the next 2 hours. So, I'm going to throw it back at you there.
I did a ton of research for both of the books, and so many fascinating aspects to Hitler besides the technology angle. His involvement with the occult, I didn't know about until these two books. It was all completely new information for me.
Uh-huh.
And I can't believe how irresponsible it is of our education world to be leaving this stuff out. Maybe they think that young people might get more interested in it and pick up where Hitler left off. I'm not really sure what people are thinking, but his whole motive for all of this comes from his belief that, they're the master race, but when you dig deeper into it, his idea of the master race is a human spin-off of the Atlantean aliens.
Yeah,
so
I've heard that.
When you really start digging into this whole idea, and then he's, his country is the king of technology, who makes for a good novel.
Yeah, well, it was so strange, too, that a lot of people don't realize he spent a lot of their country's wealth, having scientists going all over the world looking for, occult items, occult things. He really thought that the occult would actually make him conquer the world and win the war. And, he didn't spare any expense to, do it.
Right.
And including, the Antarctica,
yes,
building a base there, too, which
right.
It's sure strange. Even right after the war, we sent out some naval ships and an admiral, and they went out to the Antarctica, and they returned with a lost destroyer. Some troops were killed, and something was going on there, and they just kind of buried it.
Right. He went. I think Norway actually had something going there. They set up